All right, welcome back to the Battlefield Show Overtime. Today we're going to talk about some vehicle stuff, vehicle balance, and transport vehicles. Right now, they're really they're a problem, but I am trying to. I don't know. I feel like there's a huge problem with transport vehicles, like the transport helicopters, like the Condor, or the Russian variant. What was it called again?
Hind.
I always forget that. Say again.
The Hind, the Super
The
Hind.
Hind, the Super Hind, Super Hind. Yeah, that's it. Those two seem to be a little much, even though the Super Hind seems to be way more effective sometimes because it doesn't have two different flying modes like the Condor does. So let's get into the transport vehicles because I maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but is transport vehicles a huge problem? Is it a huge problem in this game? Zena, let's start with you. Let's go around the table here. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, I'm not a vehicle main, but
Okay.
I have abused the hell out of these vehicles since day one of this game. Probably have 15k kills with both the Condor and the Hind. Um, so they are flying tanks capable of destroying the entire lobby, pre-nerf and post-nerf, even after the 50 mil change, and everyone's just using the grenade launcher now. It doesn't matter. It's still capable of wiping out the entire lobby. I can sit with a good pilot, me in the gunner seat, maybe one person on reps. We are unkillable. We can run the entire lobby and go 100 and 0 or whatever. It's completely possible. Even after the changes with all the Liz missiles and all that stuff flying at us, with a Crawford in the passenger seat with that repair buff, it is a serious issue. I think they possibly need to consider taking the cannon off of the F2 spot and just leaving miniguns. I think that's honestly the simple change that they could do. And just because the miniguns aren't really a threat unless the pilot knows what they're doing. So just leave the miniguns on there. Let the Condor and the Hind deal with other aircraft, but leave the ground vehicles to the infantry, possibly. And maybe even think about reducing the health of the vehicle as well, because like I said, it is a flying tank. It takes a coordinated squad of people to eliminate this vehicle if the pilot knows what he's doing. That is a very key talking point, because the Condor and Hind are on the flip side are useless if the pilot or the squad doesn't know what they're doing. So there's a big flip side to there. It just depends on who's flying the transport.
That's a really good point. I like that. Energized Night. What do you think about these things? Are they a huge problem?
Yeah, they can absolutely be. Oh yeah, and breakthrough for sure. They could be a huge problem. I've had games as the pilot. I like to think that I'm a decent pilot with the Condor, even though it's shortcomings to the Hind. Yeah, I've had games where I'm the pilot for that behemoth, and I will get rack up like 90 assists in it. And I look at my stats on my team, and the person that was in the minigun seat got 1 kill. So you can guess where those other 89 kills came from. But that being said, the flip side of that is when I am the pilot, and then I don't have a gunner or a repair tool person in my Condor or Hind, those things can get shot down real quick now with the Javelin Tracer Dart combo. So if there's somebody on the opposite team that is doing a coordinated attack to take them out, I believe the Javelin does 45 damage to the Condor. That hurts just a little bit. So you can run a Tracer Dart, a Javelin, and a Railgun, and you can take out a Condor with a 2-man squad if you really time it right and get it out of the sky real fast. Maybe I got team shot to get 45 damage, but it felt like it was one Javelin that did 45 damage to me as a Condor multiple times. So it can be effectively taken out if it's an ounce of communication by the opposing team. But other than that, no, if you got a full squad inside that Condor or Hind, you are unkillable.
Have you tried the Tracer Dart, EK?
No, I have not personally used it, no.
Okay, has anyone tried the Tracer Dart? I haven't. No,
I see clips of it. It's basically like it doesn't have any drop to it.
No, and it's almost a hit scan. Yeah,
almost a hit scan.
Oh, it gets there pretty fast.
Okay, I don't remember that back in Bad Company too. I thought it was pretty tough to use those. Had a pretty big arc to it. I think. I don't know. It's been a long time, but okay. Gravity. Am I wrong about this? Are the transport choppers literally ruin our poor X's conquest?
I don't think they. I think I think the idea of calling them transport helos at this point is just so wrong. I mean, even from a year ago when they were still super strong, and the 50 cal nerf doesn't do really anything. Sure, it slightly nerfs them against vehicles, but the 40 millimeter, like as EK was saying or Zena was saying, it's like people are just plowing away in breakthrough games, getting 100, going 100-0 with the 40 millimeter cannon on it. At the end of the day, it's a transport air vehicle. It shouldn't have a high damage, ability or a seat on it at all. Not especially that something you can't rapid fire and farm away like that. The minigun should be plenty. And to be fair, both the Condor and the Super Hind, it says on the minigun slot that the miniguns do great damage at up into a minimum effective range. Minimum effective range. But if you look at the minimap, those things can blast halfway across the map and eliminate air targets. If you've seen Ash play in a Little Bird, like there's nothing you can do if you get chased down by a Super Hind. Like those miniguns, not even the 50 cal, the miniguns will obliterate a attack helo or a Little Bird. It's disgusting. That should never be the case. They should be effective against infantry only, and that's about it. I think the biggest problem, aside from that secondary seat with the 50 millimeter cannon and the 40 millimeter cannon, which should just be gone, it should just be eliminated, is the fact that no matter what damage that helicopter takes or what a foot projectile hits it, there's no physics to it. In any previous Battlefield game, if a tank shell hits a helicopter, if a rocket hits a helicopter, that thing is standard, and then it's flipped. It feels the impact, and then it has a chance of going into the ground, or it's disabled, and it slowly declines in altitude,
right? And
it can't go forward for a few seconds. This game, it does nothing. You don't take a hit. There's no There's no vehicular damage. I mean, if there is at all, you just hit the repair button and then you're gone again. Right. That needs to change. It needs to be able to take damage and be disabled somehow. If that's the case, if we're not going to nerf its health, it has to take damage and at least be, able to be disabled.
One thing I want to add about the transport vehicles is that they are basically a get out jail free card for your team. They are especially in older Battlefield games, they're very good for capping flags and for spawning. And it will balance the map out pretty well if pilots are able to use those transport vehicles effectively to drop off people in the back. It's very powerful. Now it's, from what you guys are saying, now it's doubly powerful because of the damage output it can do and the balancing of getting people around and camping flags for Conquest specifically. It's a lot. So for what my take on it is, I love the idea of just removing, like you guys said, removing that gunner seat. Okay, we're good. I'm good just on that. Easy. If they are willing not to do that, then I would be okay with a health pool reduction. I'll be down for that. A nerf on the 40 mil grenade pods, I'll take that, but I don't know if that's really going to help much, to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot of things they can do. They just need to do something because they're just really hard to take down.
I'll give you 3 balanced decisions.
Okay.
Take away the 40s and the 50s pods. Keep the miniguns as strong, maybe have a damage drop off past a certain range. Keep the health pool as it is, because you're going to get rid of the big part of it. Somehow allow it to be disabled. And add an extra seat or 2 seats for the transports. Because that's one of the biggest problems for both for the MAV and the air vehicles, is that if you want to spawn on these things, you can't. Because there's always a bunch of idiots just that sit in the thing that don't bail out, and it's so frustrating. I don't understand if they just want to sit in the thing and repair, or they want to sit in the side seat and gun out. But
yeah, the
whole point is it is a spawn point, and if you want to actually deploy behind enemy lines, you need to be able to spawn in it, and half the time you can't. Especially if you're playing 128. God forbid that's a concept. I mean, that should be That is how I would start by balancing those things.
Okay,
I completely agree.
All right, cool. Anybody want to add anything? Because I think we pretty much covered everything. Good. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. That is our advice to DICE. Hopefully, they'll see this. This is part of that feedback that they're looking for. Let's get something done here, DICE. The transports are a problem, and I got some good Battlefield players here that have some opinions about it. So let's get something done on that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. You can find these episodes, the Overtime episodes, exclusively on our YouTube channel for the Battlefield Show at BF Show and at BF Pod Show. You can find us there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Energized Night, Zena, thank you guys so much. Gravity, thank you for being the co-host today. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon. Good night.